Good evening and welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Cheap props, cheap show, what do you know? Hey, we're here at the Time Warner Cable TV Production Company, Associates, Degenerates, or whatever we are. And we're talking about comedy tonight, and the politics of comedy, and some of the things that happens along the way with comedy, and I guess pretty much comedy. So we have some special guests tonight, but I forgot their names. Will you guys introduce yourselves?
Yeah, I'm Jeremiah Small.
And I'm Kurt Thrutchley. That's the Bushman.
Yeah, he ditched us to drive the bus.
No, I don't. He just ditched us, period.
I think he's getting a BJ from a girl in TJ, to tell you the truth. So,
that was actually kind of funny.
Well, how would you know? But So, folks, what we got here is a little show that if you have any questions about comedy and the predicaments it's been in for the last, I don't know, 10 years, with half the comics out there being hacks and the other half thinking they're hacks. Not really. There's a lot of good comics out there, but the reality of it is that comedy's changed a lot in the last 5 or 10 years, and people think an act is 15 minutes, and they try to get on movies and TVs and commercials and think they're successful. When I started booking comics back in 84, 85, when people had 45 minutes of material, and it's a great show, great time for it. It's had by all. And these gentlemen here are both involved with the photography end of the business, and they've worked with a lot of comics. And
actually, he's an editor.
I don't care what he is, Ollie. At this point in time, he's working with the business. But I wanted to ask them a couple questions tonight because one of our pop-ins didn't pop in. He popped out instead. And by the way, I figured out why they call this food we had tonight Wendy's. Because I've had gas for the last 15 minutes.
That was the worst joke ever.
I started off in rock and roll in the 60s and got to work with a lot of major rock and roll bands. Had a lot of fun.
Yeah, why don't we talk about how you used to date Janis Joplin?
Well, she was my boss back in the day was a guy named Chet Helms.
Why don't we talk about the light show, though?
We're going to, if you'll let me get a word out.
All right, let's continue, please.
But bump.
All right.
So I was a stagehand, stage manager, lighting director, etc., with one spotlight. That's what we had when we first opened up Family Dog on the Beach. And Janis would drop in once in a while because that was her hangout. Her boss was Chet Helms, who brought her to San Francisco from Texas. And everybody there used to go goo-goo-eyed over her except me. And she liked that, I guess. Of course, I had long hair and I was in shape and stuff then. That was before my bad accident that laid me up for a couple of years. So we, one night I was locking up the joint and she was hanging out there in her Porsche and asked me if I wanted to go to breakfast. And the rest will be in a book called, what did I call that book? Life on a Dollar a Day. So
wait a minute. No, let's hear about the light show where it looked like Jesus was coming and all that stuff.
That was a different scene. That was a different group. I mean, I've got so many.
Well, I want to hear that. I want to hear that
story. He wants to hear this story. He didn't preempt on what we were doing tonight, so I'm going to blame him for this, or I would have it refreshed in my brain. But there was a group out there that a gentleman that see, this is why I'm mad at you. What's his name? What
gentleman?
Michael
Eisner?
No.
Richards?
No. Not Michael Richards. He's a good friend of mine. He was just doing scenes from a movie called Pulp Fiction. If you guys notice, when you see that stuff he did in that comedy show, he was in character the whole time. All right? I'll stand up for Michael. I know he's not a racist, and I know that those people were heckling for 15 or 20 minutes, but because they didn't cut off the drinks and those people were buying alcohol, nobody shut them up. So
how do we get off on that tangent?
Because I'm still mad about it. Anyway, because if you would have let me know you were going to ask this question, I would have had his name written down. My memory is, I took one acid trip. Too many. So, pump. We're going to go onwards and upwards. The phone number is on the board. If you have any ridiculous question about comics or anything to do with why comedy's in the state it's in or something to do with comedy whatsoever, give us a call and we'll try and throw a ball at you, and give you a figure out. Plus, we have some VIP tickets for a couple of the comedy clubs in town that we'll be sure to get in your hands if you do call in. By the way,
how are you going to get those to them, Johnny?
Listen. I got ways. I'm the Godfather of comedy.
What are you going to tie them to a pigeon's foot and just?
Well, no, I'll just meet them there some night.